What is up, my people? I gotta find a better intro. This video or this podcast or wherever you're listening this on is a continuation from my last video, Hollywood's Hypocrisy. I'll have it linked somewhere on the screen or in the description somewhere. It's going to be where I see a huge problem coming from a lot of people. The ability to think for yourself is becoming this unique thing. So much of the internet and the media and a cringy word incoming society has a versus aspect to it, where it's not about equality anymore, it's about men versus women, where one needs to be better and one needs to be the bigger victim than the other, and we need to make it equal. Or it's the left versus the right when you start talking about politics, like Democrats, Republicans, Labour versus Conservative. Like God help a Labour or Republican representing or helping or agreeing with a certain law or thing a Democrat has to say or wants to put in place. And of course the same statement goes for the other way around. God help a Conservative who wants to help a Labour. I mean, I can kind of understand it. Reporting is no longer reporting. It's so-called like journalists turning the report into a biased article and just calling it journalism. Like you hear everyone at the Capitol riots were all racist Trump supporters. And you hear like a few BLM protests go violent, and now everyone who's a protest is a raging rioter. When you're on the left, everyone on the right is like a Nazi and all these horrible people. But when you're on the right, everyone on the left is trying to start the next Soviet Union. Even when looking at it from an individual sort of perspective, we judge people as if they're bad or good people from our own sort of view, right? And that doesn't seem like a bad idea, right? So you want to stay away from bad people and try to surround yourself with good. I mean, it's common knowledge. But when media and society tells you who is good and who is bad, when good people are the ones that go to your church, or when the ones who only listen to Fox News are the only smart people around, or the ones who believe everything CNN has to say are the only good people around, then it can become a real problem. It's okay, these might be extreme examples, but this is what the media and the cringe word again, society are projecting and trying to get out. The mainstream media has a price it would never pay for this, but so do people. We flood celebrities with likes and follows and listen to their every word. And if you need proof of this, just go to a website. It's called Twitch. I'll probably have it up on screen or down in the description. And then go to a just chatting section on that website. And yes, I understand how they're getting their views, and so do they. But a lot of people on there get thousands of views while doing nothing. But my point isn't to bash on these people. If I could do that, I would. Yeah, I remember there's this one girl who got hundreds of thousands of views while just sleeping. Again, my point isn't to bash on these people. It's no longer about what you produce, but how many people you have listening to you or blindly supporting you. I got a question from a YouTube viewer that goes sort of along these lines. If you're listening or reading this, you'll find a link to my YouTube in the description or the bottom of the page, or you'll find it somewhere. He asks, do you think people Do you think people pay so much attention to Hollywood celebs because they don't think for themselves? And I think there's an element of it there. I think every celebrity or every person, every famous person, or everyone who has a sort of voice has what I like to call a blind fan. No matter what they say, what they do, they'll support them. Which sort of feeds into this mindset of you're with us or you're against us, which is not the way to have a good conversation. But I see the mob mentality is a lot more of a problem than people not being able to think for themselves. I actually think most people can think for themselves, but feel like they can't share their opinion due to the mob or due to this whole mob mentality. I feel there's this pressure online nowadays where where you have to submit, where you have to agree with what like the majority tell you, whether it be your job is on the line or awkward family dinners or you get cancelled from something. But people have different views than the majority, but I think putting like hashtag BLM or hashtag Me Too, whatever the new thing is on the socials, will make things easier, or to just not be confrontational. And I think it really is what going to stop me from doing this channel, these blogs and all these different things, and to have really meaningful sort of conversations for like a long time. My views are sort of different from the majority of people out there. You'll probably find that out if you watch any of my stuff or listen to me. But it's not about me, I'm just using me as an example, right? Like people on the right, they subscribe and listen to people on the right, and the left does the same thing. And it's the exact same thing with celebrities. People just listen to one side of them, or one side of the story, and judge and jump to conclusions. They watch one documentary and think they're experts. They listen to one celebrity and for some reason or another agrees with the mob or the popular opinion, which is such a shocker. And now they believe it too. I'm seeing it change a little now, and it's getting a little bit more unique. But I think COVID did help with this particular issue. It didn't help anything else really, but that's not so much the point. We're turning into this cringy word. I just can't use another word for this, society which doesn't allow for individuality or allow people to make mistakes. And you can't think for yourself now. You have to apologize for a tweet you made at 2 a.m. while drunk, or that gay joke you made because it's offensive now. But the worst part of it all is just forcing an apology out of someone for having a different opinion than the mainstream one, or seen as like criminal to have a different opinion. Individuality and having a unique opinion is no longer promoted. It's like you're with us or you're against us, and there's no sort of middle ground. Look at Kevin Hart's situation there. It's maybe a few years ago now, but he made a joke about her, and that of course on Twitter. I'll probably have it up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube.
Just got a call from the academy, and that call basically said, Kevin, apologize for your tweets of old, or we're going to have to move on and find another host. Talking about the tweets from 2009, 2010. I chose to pass. I passed on the apology.
Which resulted in him being fired from being the announcer of the Golden Globes because he wouldn't apologise for it. Which he ended up doing anyway, so that was really pointless. But a short time later, he came out with like a comedy special during a COVID, and I decided to watch a little bit of it because I enjoyed his last one. And the whole time he was just walking on eggshells because he didn't want to offend anyone or make any bad jokes or get cancelled. And if you compare it to one of his best specials, it's called Irresponsible, compared to his most recent one that he did during COVID and it was with his house, he was scared to make jokes. Like most of his special was just him saying in one way or another, "Don't cancel me," which to me is a sign of a really depressing time in history, that we actually couldn't have got to this point where even comedians now can't make jokes because they might be offensive. It blows my mind a little bit, but yes, he isn't the funniest man alive. Yes, he's no Dave Chappelle, but he's completely the opposite demeanor that comedians should have. I get it. It was during a pandemic and all that was going on. His last one was in like a stadium, while this one was sort of in his house. And there are more variables. Like there was like a really shit crowd there. Like the crowd there was just like you had to do social distancing in the crowd and all this type of stuff, right? But it's still, that's not really the point, and that's not really what's, like, even with all those variables, it still goes to my point. There's no individuality anymore. We all have to laugh at the same things. We all have to think the same way, or you're cancelled, or the mob is coming for you. Where you don't have to come to the table anymore with a valid argument that's sort of thought out you just gotta demonize the other side, or be a majority over the other side. You know, or like where you get to disagree with someone, but then that person has to be a trans hater or a misogynist or a Nazi or a racist in other instances, in more extreme instances. And it's your job to like seed out the truth. You kind of see it with the Jordan Peterson and Kathy Newman interview. If you've ever seen that, I'll drop a link below. I'm already going 10 minutes, so I probably won't play it. But it's your job to expose them because they disagree with you. You know, where it's less about your ideas and your points or your proposals, but more about which side you agree with. I can easily do a part 3 to this and I can talk a lot more about like the celebrity side and why sort of people agree with this mentality a lot more than others, and I can just go into more depth. I'm just going on for like 11 minutes now, so I'm gonna just end it there. But I mean, like, of course, I did get 2 likes on my last video, so I kind of know how it feels to be a celebrity and all that. But all jokes aside, man, do all that subscribe and stuff. Hope you enjoyed it and all that, and peace.